Hello everyone, this is Gilbert Gelato. I'm talking to you here from Private Corporate Counsel, downtown Orlando. This is Tufts on Tax, where all your tax questions and answers are right here with Mr. T. Scott Tufts. When it comes to taxes, he is the expert and the master. You can call him always at 877-647-7887. That number is 877-647-7887. You can also call it on the 407 area code. You can email him at stufts@pcc.law. That's stufts@pcc.law. You can visit the website at privatecorporatecounsel.com. Hello, Scott. How are you today?
Hey, it's good to be with you.
Good to be with you too. And today we have an interesting topic about Section 7434 fraudulent 1099 claims. What is that all about? And it's related to this the serving seniors case in California.
Yeah, so this is interesting. We have in the past, in some of our prior podcasts, talked about 1099s, NEC. This is the NEC standing for non-employee compensation. We've talked in the past about how that form used to be the 1099 miscellaneous form. They broke it out of the 1099 miscellaneous form and kind of gave it its own kind of form.
Correct.
We've talked about how that form, when it gets filed, is important to determine between that and a W-2. Are you an employee or independent contractor?
Correct.
And so what we're talking about when we say Section 7434 is there's a code section, a tax law section that is aimed at addressing fraudulent information returns. And what is that? Well, that would be a situation where someone gets a 1099, NEC, or whatever other information return qualifies under the statute, and you get the 1099 and you look at it and you essentially say, I didn't get that money, and therefore this information return is fraudulent, or it's been done to harass me or retaliate against me. So the approach that we need to be thinking about here is there support for the payment or the amount that appears on the 1099? Okay. And if there's in serving seniors, what happened is you have a company called Serator Rebond Group of Companies. Okay, let's just say Serator.
Okay.
The Serator company was providing accounting and financial services to the serving seniors company. Okay. And the serving seniors company had a number of different businesses, right? A staffing company, basically dedicated to a number of different senior services in California, okay? And the question became, when they're providing these services, tax preparation, financial services, accounting services, and management services, okay? Then the question becomes, who else are they serving and providing assistance to when they're doing tax preparation? And if they also prepared, assistance to Serator, the Serator's CEO, which in this case was Raquel Heck, H-E-C-K, then the dispute can arise when things like this are happening, which are that if the services are billed, right, and the serving seniors pays all the bills, right, then the amounts paid in full should be, like any business arrangement, taking care of work that was accurately prepared and done, right? Should not be a problem, okay? But if you have a situation where the individual, Ms. Heck, in this particular example, question whether or not she had actually received the money on the 1099, right? Then that would be part of a fraudulent 7434 claim. And that is because if you're looking at how much was paid and you didn't get you didn't receive the cash in the form of compensation that it says that's on the 1099, then maybe you have a fraudulent 1099 correct? Because you would be saying, I didn't get paid that amount. And so you can get an amount of $5,000 or actual dollar damages and have your attorney's fees covered. So the argument was that when Serator requested proof that they had actually paid this amount to them, or that this amount was actually paid to Heck for $1 million in the 1 year and a different amount in another year, and Serator could not produce any support for that, okay, then that left the serving seniors in a tough spot because they have a CEO that's getting a 1099 that was prepared by the Serator.
That's weird.
Well, they're the tax return preparation, right?
Oh, okay.
Serving seniors is the company. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Serving seniors then is in a hot spot because it's their CEO that's gotten this 1099 from the company they've hired to prepare, right? To prepare 1099s and tax preparation. So essentially, if you think about it, the 1099 is saying, let's assume it says that senior citizens, right, serving seniors paid the CEO. So think about it. Okay, let's make it simple. You're in this example, you are Serator. You're preparing the 1099s for me, the company, to issue to my CEO, explaining how much non-employee compensation she got. Okay?
Yeah, that's messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you issue a 1099 that's false, okay? Let's say I think it's false and the CEO thinks it's false, right?
Then that's from a company that should know better.
Well, right.
When it comes to these forms.
Right. So did you make a mistake, right? Right? So if the CEO gets a 1099 for $1 million, right? And it says that the company paid
the CEO
$1 million. And I go, well, I don't, and the CEO says, I didn't get, that's a fraudulent 1099, right? She might point the finger at me, the company, say, why did you do that? And say, I didn't do it. The tax return people did that, right? And then when we go to you and say, what support do you have for that 1099 that you issued, right? And you don't produce anything, that's the situation we're talking about. So it's a three-way mess, correct?
Yeah, it sounds like a mess.
Right? So the parties are litigating over what is a fraudulent 1099 in the context where the preparation is done by a third party. And the allegation is that you issued the 1099 improper, that you sent out the fraudulent 1099. And I don't know that I've seen that. I've seen it's always usually between who's on the payment, the payor and the payee.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? The allegation is...
Like you had an example of one person got a loan versus he got paid.
Right. So let's say that in the company setting, company makes a favor, a loan to someone. It's not taxable. It's a true loan. Let's say it's got a loan and whatever. Yeah. And then let's say we have a falling out, and then just out of spite, the company sends a 1099 NEC form to that person. Now it's taxable. At least that's what the form is intending to do.
Of course.
The person who received the loan would say, that wasn't taxable. I've got to pay it back. But now you've created a situation where you've called it income when it wasn't.
Then they have to sue them.
They got to sue them. And first they're going to say, what's the support? What's your support for calling that income?
Exactly.
Right? Isn't this a loan? And then what am I going to say under that setting? But this case, serving seniors, is a little bit unique in that it's a third party that has gotten into the mix. The tax preparation people.
Yeah, that's different.
But the question is, if I then go to you and say, where's the support for what you've done to my CEO, right? You've issued them a 1099 claiming that I paid her, or whatever the fact pattern is, money that I did not. Right? So then what? So again, are we talking about a mistake? I'm looking at these pleadings that were filed here, and they first questioned whether or not they tried to throw the case out, this being Seritor. Seritor defended on the basis that this case should be thrown out because they argued that the 1099 NEC form isn't the type of form that qualifies under this law, and of course it does. So that did not work. But then the question is, would it apply in this context that we're talking about? And the court said, no, we think it does. It can apply in this situation. So now they're going to have to litigate it out and figure out what really happened.
So it's still going.
Oh, yeah. This is very early on in the stages. Let me be clear. Seritor is claiming that they did not do anything wrong here, that they did not overcharge for the services, and that they did not issue a fraudulent 1099. And they have countered. I think they've counterclaimed. If I'm looking at the latest filings, they have counterclaimed. They've defended and counterclaimed for a breach of contract. And so, this is the environment that they're in, where they're defending and fighting back. I'm just looking here to see. They're claiming that $340,000 is due and owing, and they're looking to get paid for the services that they billed for. So if you understand what they're arguing is, they're saying they did nothing wrong. They validly billed for their services of tax preparation and other such things, but they're also saying that they did not file a fraudulent 1099. So between the CEO and the company, So I think it's an interesting situation brewing, because one of the allegations is that, on what basis and why did they file the 1099 NEC? And one of the things they say in here is they requested documentation for the 1099, and Seritor, they allege, refused to provide any such documentation, and upon information and belief, Seritor issued the 1099 with false information, willfully in an effort to harm Heck, in retaliation for Heck questioning the fees of Seritor. So you see what's going on? And then the allegation is that, they're requesting the documentation to support the 1099. And the allegation is that they did this and again, let's be clear, they're alleging that Seritor issued the 1099 with false information willfully in an effort to harm the CEO in retaliation for questioning the fees. And so that is what's important here.
They did it on purpose just to upset them.
Correct. And interestingly enough, I just noticed this. In the factual pattern, it says serving seniors intends to file a corrected 1099. So in the situation we're talking about, where the tax return preparation people prepare what is perceived by the CEO to be an improper 1099, now the company for whom the CEO works is in the mix, but it's saying that it's going to file the corrected one, which it could do. It wouldn't have to depend on the tax return preparation company to do it. So anyway, quite a mess, but it's a three-party situation I haven't quite seen yet in the 7434 context. This case came out in September. It's simply at the stage of pleading, so we don't know all the facts, but just based on my review of the pleadings and what's being alleged, we can kind of see this kind of situation brewing, where there's a concern about the 1099s issue.
Well, I mean, people have to be very careful. Did they catch this by coincidence, or did someone...
Well, I think what would happen is you would obviously get a 1099 that you question, and then you'd ask for the support. And if that support doesn't come, then the question is, on what basis was it generated?
Correct.
You don't just issue a 1099 that doesn't have support.
But didn't they think that they're gonna question that? They're gonna see that? They're gonna look at that?
Yeah, I suspect they might. But the question is, what happens if there's other economics we don't know about? Remember how I gave the example of the loan?
Yeah.
Right? That money
Versus,
came,
yeah.
you know, in a hypothetical between you and me. If I'm loaning you money in the business setting, and I were to loan you money, and you knew it wasn't compensation, but it was because you're going to pay it back, and we had, let's say, a valid loan.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden you get a 1099 that says it's non-employee compensation. I would suspect you'd say, excuse me, right? This is not true. I did not get non-employee compensation. I did get a loan, right, in this amount, but it doesn't, it's not income. That's a little bit different. It's not like you're able to say, I didn't get any cash at all, and what the heck am I doing?
How you got the cash, how you got the money.
So you can see how there's a refinement here of what is going on. You have to look at it, because what is a fraudulent 1099 might be, what about as to amount or as to character? So the character would be, you did get $10,000, but it was filed against you to kind of stick it to you, to recharacterize it from a loan to income, right? A different situation would be, you didn't get it at all. There is no money that you got, and I give you a 1099. That would be another situation you have to look at. But each one we want our audience to look at and decide what are the facts, but be careful with these situations, because you first want to try and get the information, the support for it. So anytime someone's issued a 1099 or you have questions about a tax form, you go to the source and say, hey, what's the support for this? How did you come up with this number? And you hopefully get the support from the person that prepared it.
You heard him, folks. Don't let them stick it to you. That would be our phrase for
Absolutely.
this episode. Don't let them stick it to you. So check the source. Make sure everything is clear from the beginning. You can call Mr. T. Scott Tufts at 877-647-7887. Again, 407-647-7887. That number also on 877 number. You can email him at stufts@pcc.law. That's stufts@pcc.law, or you can call him again, or visit the website rather at privatecorporatecounsel.com. Thank you and have a great day.